Hello fellow brotendos, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Flynn. Today I'm gonna do a different type of video this time around. I always wanted to do a video like this. Basically a deck profile of one of my favorite card games is Weiss Schwarz. Obviously, I'm gonna do one on Hololive because I like Hololive and I like Weiss Schwarz, and Weiss Schwarz was made by Bushiroad. A little fact for you there. So, just gonna break down the deck that I use, that I've personally created. Also, I do have this deck in real life, mind you. Let us get started. Let's break this down. So, obviously, we're going to start with the level zeros. This is also Coco deck with Suse. Let's start with Matsurugi. So, she's a brainstormer. She every time she hits a climax with a brainstormer ability, she would salvage a character from the waiting room. She's yellow. She also gives power to one of your Hololive characters that's level 1 or higher, which would help in the end game sometime. Other characters once I get into it, so Matsurugi can definitely give the buff. Sometimes at least one or maybe two climax at the bottom of the deck. You can try to do the brainstorm and then maybe get one or two characters off of her ability, or if you just wanted to get a good refresh, have a better deck state, you can do that also. So yeah, next we're gonna have Kaori, the Gen 6 member, the Coyote. So Hololive likes to be in the center middle stage. Yeah, in the center middle stage, if the card is in the center middle stage, it gets an extra soul. So sometimes you gotta push for damage, and Kaori just has just an extra soul just because she's sitting in the middle stage. So that's nice. But mainly I use it for the climax swap ability. So on play, you can pay one stock, ditch one climax, put it in your waiting room to salvage another climax. Mainly you want the other climaxes. So let's just say you have the Coco climaxes in your hand, right? But you want the Corona because you're only like level 1, let's just say, right? But if you want to get the Corona's climax off, you would play her. Obviously, you need enough stock, which is 1, easily doable. And then you would pay 1, ditch the Coco climax, and salvage the Corona climax when you have the Coronas on board, obviously, to do the Corona shenanigans, right? So, yeah, Coyote helping out the dog, or vice versa. If I have Coco on board and nothing but the Corona climax in my hand, vice versa, right? Pay 1, do this, do that, there you go. So yeah, there's that. So next we're on the level zeros. We have La Plus, another Gen 6 member. So what she does, again, center middle stage shenanigan. She gets 3,000 power. So as a level 0, 3,500 buff would pretty much no downsides besides sitting in the middle stage. That's pretty big numbers, especially in the early game. But what she's really good for is the second ability, where you move on the stage to the waiting room, or you pay 1 and then you put a Hololive character, and it could be herself if you really want to, into your clock, at the bottom of your clock, mind you. Hi, Flair from the future here. Real quick, I don't know why, but the audio on this part of when I was explaining the second ability of Laplace got corrupted, so here I am. I'm just going to explain it real quick. Second ability is you pay 1 stock, you put 1 Hololive character in the waiting room, and you put it in the bottom of your clock. Reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, and if the Hololive character is added to your hand. So yeah, just wanted to say that real fast. This works very well with the cronies, by the way. So if you put them in the clock, then you can swap them out next turn for later. So yeah, good synergy on that. So yeah, this was just most likely because 2 is a small number. You don't really whiff on the effect. You can add both to the head. So she's the plus as a plus, no pun intended. So there's that. First level 0 blue of the deck here we're going to introduce here. So what she does is a little weird. I kind of run her because she has saved my rear so many times on the refresh point. I'm always at 3-6 usually. When she's placed on the stage from the hand, you pay 1 stock and you discard 1 card, and you just refresh your entire waiting room into the deck for free. basically. And then she also has a level 0 shift ability. So if she's sitting in your clock and at the beginning of your main phase, so she can bounce back to your hand by ditching or trading per se a blue card from your hand to the clock. So there you go. Again, that's sitting at 3-6. And you need to refresh your waiting room because you have like 8 climaxes sitting in the waiting room, but your deck's about to run out. You have a stock, you have a card you want to discard. I would just bring it back to her hand by swapping the blue card with her, and, Next we have a Indonesian Hololive member. First of all, again, she's blue. Middle stage shenanigans. She's sitting in the middle stage. She will gain 2,000 power, so pretty beefy. Again, big for the early game, level 0s. And then the other effect, I want to say they. What I mean by they is that there's 4 other cards, even though it's not the same character, that have the exact same effect. What she does for the second ability, you pay 1 stock, you put 1 card from your hand in the waiting room. When she's played from hand, and you search for a Hololive card. That's one of the 4. Again, I mentioned other roles. So next we have Bolton, the sniper lion, right? The FPS lion, 5th generation. 5th generation does memory shenanigans. So memory is basically the Spanish zone for this game. That's what it's called. So she pays a stock, and then she removes herself. She puts herself to the memory zone, and you could look up to 3. Doesn't have to be 3, but basically salvage a character out of the 3 cards. Run two of her, and if they're both in the memory zone, it compresses the deck, which is vital in Weiss Schwarz, because you want to get to see obviously you want to see your best cards as early as possible, as long as canceling with the climaxes or gaining your climaxes, or getting the right level 1, level 2, etc. right? So having 2 cards out of your deck, that means you're basically playing with a 48 card deck, which is pretty good. I did run this at 3, but I felt like it was a little bit too much, again with the refresh points, because you refresh a little bit earlier. But having 2 and then having Crony as a emergency backup, basically for the waiting room stuff, and not damaging yourself with the refresh if you really don't want to, or if you can't help it. And yeah, these kind of all help. Yeah, moving on to the bub, Nanashi Mume, another council member, but again, promise, because they changed. This is one of the other 4 I'm talking about. I know where to really repeat myself, but real fast. 2,000 power in the middle stage, paint 1, ditch 1, and then search for Hololive character. Next we have Ina, Priestess Taco. Again, out of the other 4, blue, 2,000 power middle stage, pay 1, ditch 1, search for Hololive. So there you go. Next we have 3 of these Bakoras. So she's blue, level 0, and then she gains a marker. What she does, when she's placed on the stage from the hand, I can choose a Hololive character in the waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. She also gives 500 power to all the other Hololive characters, so everybody on the stage besides her, which is good, because usually level 0s they give assist power, whether it be 500 or 1,000, which is a little crazy, but sometimes the cards that are out there, they just give that power in front of the cards. But since she gets 500 globally, I think that's pretty good. And then with the marker shenanigans thing, when she's put to from the stage to the waiting room, if she had a marker under her, she can come back on the stage as rested. Yeah, that would help with one of the other ones, which it's good synergy. And then her coming back basically for free, besides the marker thing, does help, because you have another body on board for the next turn, and then you can keep the 500 power boost, which sometimes 500 can make a big difference. Next we have Sana. We all miss you, Sana. We all still love you, Sana. Sana is here, another council member, or promise. I wonder if it was still keeping its promise if she was still around. But yeah, again, 2,000 power to set a bit of stage. She's the 4th of what I'm talking about. Pay 1, ditch 1, and then yeah, search for all live characters. So next we have another council member. I guarantee you this is not just a holo council deck. So Oro Coroni. This one is different from the other one, so don't get these 2 mixed up by being the same. So what she does, when you discard a climax, when it's cards placed with the station in hand, you can pay the cost, which is stage of the climax, and then you can salvage a Hololive character. So that alone kind of speaks volumes, right? So if you have too many climaxes in hand, and there's no way you can get rid of them. If you have like 2 of the Coroni climaxes, and you want to get rid of one of them because you want to have as much as climaxes as possible when you do the refresh state, have a better deck state to potentially cancel. You just really need a character that you want that's in the waiting room and have no other way to get it back. If like Master Rugi missed the brainstormer and whatnot, etc., sometimes get you out of that pinch to get that character by just climax. And then also, again, it's like the other Aura Coroni card, shift abilities. Again, the beginning of the main phase, if you have a blue card and she's sitting in your clock, again, swap them. Now into the level 1s finally. So here we are, Uzura Subaru, the duck. So she only has 1 ability. It's an experience. So if you do not have a blue card at the level, she doesn't do her ability, but what she does is you ditch 1 card, you put it in the waiting room from your hand, place on the stage from your hand. If you have a blue card in your level, you can look up to 4 cards on top of your deck and then choose a level 1 or higher card among them. Reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest in the waiting room. Besides that, she's just a 5k beat stick. So if you really need to discard a card, again, it could be any card, it doesn't have to be a climax or a character, it could be anything. If you want to hand fix and potentially search for your end game cards, then yeah, she can definitely help. So here we go, the pirate, Hoshomard, level 1, she's yellow, 3rd generation, right? So what she does is if you have 2 or more Hololive characters on the stage, she constantly gets 2,000 power, which is pretty easy to do. So you have 2 characters in the back row and you play her or you have her, right? She gets 2,000 power, so she's a free 6,000 power level 1 beat stick, which is pretty good, pretty decent. And then her other ability is that once per turn, okay, keep that in mind. When this card becomes reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 2 high, you may rest this card. So she potentially saves herself, right? If you reveal the top card of your deck and it's level 2 or higher, she saves herself for free. So you just have an extra body next turn. If you reveal the card and if it's level 1 or lower, she just dies normally. So next we have the climax combo I mentioned a little bit earlier. So here we go. A gamer gen member and Yugami Coroni, I'm sure you're familiar with it. So on her first ability, when this card is placed with the stage of the hand, she gets X power until the end of the turn. So X equals the number of Hololive characters you have on the board. So normally you would want to place her last, right? So she gets as beefy as possible. It's times 500, so obviously if you have 4 other members and then she's the 5th one on stage, that's the biggest amount she can get, besides backstage support. That's her first ability. The second ability is why I run her, and the max copy of her, 4 cards. The same thing with the climax down here, I'm sure you noticed. When she attacks, keep that in mind. When she just attacks, the effect goes off. Okay, so when she attacks, if state of the house, which is that climax down here you saw of her in your climax area, if you have another Hololive character, so keep that in mind as well. Choose one of your characters and that character get the following ability, 10 out of 10, which is when this card, the battle opponent becomes reverse, search your deck after 1 Hololive character, reveal the opponent, and then jump your deck, right? Which is, this ability is pretty cool because on attack, she can give this effect to any other member on board, or she can give the effect to herself. So whoever is the beefiest, right? Whoever has the most attack on your board and you're going for an attack and you have that claim that's going, you have her, and this does not cost a stock miner to do any of this. So just, I guess, timing, strategy, what's going on with the situation with the board, right? When the deck is just refreshed, for example, and you attacked with her, you buffed it to, I don't know, you give the effect to Mari because Mari's sitting at 6k usually. Attack with her next, so you have more options after you refresh. You pretty much have the whole deck to you once the reverse happens, and then the search happens based off of her climax combo. So yeah, that's why I run Coroni. She's pretty good. Next we have a myth member, English, Takeshi Kiara. So when your other Hololive character attacks, she gets 15 on the power to the editor. and that stacks. So I run only 2 of it because 1 stock at a level 1 with this deck is pretty hefty, because my end game goal, we want to have as much stock as possible, as much as the hand as possible. So yeah, and her other ability is on Encore. She gets defeated, which is put in the stage from the waiting room. You can just discard a card as she comes back. So, which is pretty cool, because you know she's a phoenix, right? So she keeps coming back to life. So yeah, there you go. She's here. So now we have a 4th generation member, Tsutamaki Watame, the sheep. She's the only backup we run. If all our characters are Hololive characters, you may put the top card in your deck into stock. So she blind stocks. She pops up the character by 2,000 power by paying a stock, you know, obviously just discarding her. But it's basically for free, right? If you have another Hololive character on board, you just get a free stock. It is blind, so it could be a climax like when at the start. But hey, again, our end game goal is to get as much stock as possible and as much in the hand as possible. There you go. There's the sheep. That's what she does. Next we have Russia. Yeah, she's very interesting. So I play her. Obviously, yeah, she's a level 1 green, as you see, but she has the interesting ability that she can be played without color restrictions. So her other ability is you put 1 Hololive character from the stage digitally, so on the stage, you can pay the cost, which is sacking the character. And if you do reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's well, it says Hololive 3rd generation, right? But then it just says Hololive. So literally any other character in the deck, including herself, you can just add to the hand. Going back to the Bakura, remember when I mentioned about the market situation? You can sack her. Again, remember this effect is on stage sacrifice. You can sack her, do her effect, and if it's a Hololive character, because most of the time it is, it's just 1 card. She comes back. She comes back as rested after the effect, right? So there's that. That's why I was talking about good synergy with the Russia and Bakura. And then her last ability is that if you want more power to get the Corona climax combo going, on attack you can choose 1 other Hololive character. So she can't buff herself. So on attack you can choose one of your other Hololive characters, and they gave 500 times the number of Hololive characters you have. So yeah, that could definitely help with the end game goal and the Corona shenanigans. Next we have this anti-changer Minato Aqua, 2nd generation. So Aqua here only has 1 ability, and it's very simple. So when she becomes reverse, if that level of that card's battle opponent is higher than their level, the opponent's level, you may put that character at the bottom of the deck. So standbys as such, she can crash into them and then put them at the bottom of the deck when she gets reversed. So, which is fairly easy to do. Yeah, she costs a stock to do it. She's sitting at 4,000, but like her thing is to get reversed. So, and there's a problematic change card or early play card that your opponent has played. You want to get rid of it at the bottom of the deck. Well, she's your gal. She's ready to do that. So there you go. Level 1 blue, the last one of the level 1s. Next we're going to move the only level 2 in the deck, and again she's it's blue, and obviously don't want to bore you with the details. You know who this is. This is Gargura. What she does is she's an assist, so she helps your level 3s or higher only with 2,000 power, which is a pretty big boost. It kind of sucks that she only helps level 3s or higher, but it is what it is. And her other ability is kind of a hand fix situation effect. So she rests herself, you draw a card, and then you discard a card. Yeah, she helps with that, and then the 2,000 boost again helps with the end game goal, which I'm about to get to literally right now. So here we go. The main girl. This is the whole reason why I even started this deck. Her ability is a bit much to read, but basically the rundown is on play. She heals you, and she constantly gets 500 power during your turn only, so keep that in mind. So yeah, she's pretty freaking big. 4th generation Coco, this is my Yoshi by the way. He gets pretty big there, and then the climax combo, which you need this. Welcome to the Kiru Club. When that's placed on the stage, you pay your stock and you put 1 card in the hand to the waiting room. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversive, welcome to the Kiru Club is in your climax area. If this card, oh yeah, this card, okay, so this is really weird too. I've never seen this in any other Weiss Schwarz card that I know of, but for some reason she just turns the color red. So that doesn't really matter. I just don't get why that happens, but yeah, she turns red, And then you can play this effect up to 5 times. So, and then you put the bottom 3 cards of your opponent's deck into the waiting room, and if there was a climax within those 3 cards, you deal 1 damage to your opponent, and it actually goes to the number of times you paid this cost plus 1. So obviously, if you pay all the way up to the cost of 5, right? If you had 5 cards in hand, 5 cards you want to ditch, and you have 5 stocks you want to pay, she does this to 6 times, which is crazy, right? So even if your opponent cancels pretty much all of this, the deck is very, very low. Like, there's a lot of cards milled, and it's the bottom 3 cards of the deck. It's every time a climax hits within the 3, so it's not like first 3 bottom cards of the deck, of the opponent's deck, is all just climaxes. It's not gonna burn 3 times from that little round, right? It's just gonna burn once. It just states if there's a climax. If there's a climax among these cards, right, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So it's a very good effect. It's pretty hefty cost if you want to get the most out of it. Obviously, you want to go for 5, but sometimes that just can't cut it because your hand's too small. You don't have enough stock. You don't have the climax. So there's a lot of setup to get to it, which is fairly hard, but there's no other way to search out the climaxes. You're gonna have to just hard draw, or again you do the Gura effect or Koyori if you have the Koroni climax in your hand and you want the Coco one to get this effect off, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's why that's the ultimate goal with this deck, is to get the burn effect off as much as humanly possible with the Cocos. So next we have early play Susei. So she's just like Russia. I mean, she is blue, but which is easy to achieve in this deck. But she's a blue card. She's level 3. Yeah, she's at 8,500, which is low for a level 3's power state. But she heals you. So if you have 4 other Hololive characters on board, she gets -1 level in your hand. So she's level 2, right? You can play her. You can discard 1 card from your hand, and then the top card of your clock goes into stock. If your hand's big but your stock's low, you can do her effect and she heals you and you get stock and to prepare for Coco's thing, right? And then yeah, she gets fairly big, 500 for each of the Hololive characters, including herself. So she's fairly big, but like by herself, she can get knocked over, I guess, because 85 is, as a base power, is pretty low, especially if you don't have any of the Makoras in the backstage and you don't have to go in the backstage supporting her. Yeah, she gets knocked out fairly easy, I noticed, but she's mostly there for the stock heal. So, and then there's the climaxes, which is 8 choice. Date of the House is the climax for the Koroni, the level 1 Koroni. Choice, so sometimes with choice, that's why I also play cards like the Watame and the Aqua. They have the soul icon. So with these trigger, you can either put these in your stock or in your hand. Again, that definitely helps with the Coco ending. So again, if you're running out of stock, put like the Minotaur Aqua if you trigger these into stock. Or if your hand is low, add Watame or the Aqua to hand, or even the Gura, another copy of Coco, Susei, etc. Right? So yeah, 8 choice. I'm very satisfied with the deck. I sit comfortably with this deck. It plays really well. It's very consistent because, you know, obviously all the characters are Hololive and all the effects just state that if it's a Hololive character, this and that happens. So yeah, that is my deck profile. I'd be happy though if somebody build this exact, you know, same deck list and actually wins a tournament with it. It doesn't have to be the big Kahuna tournaments, but yeah, that was my deck. Again, I always wanted to do a video like this. I did wanted to do this like real life, but I just don't have a camera setup like that. So yeah, that's why I did it this way. And shout outs to the one that's behind that made this simulator. This is the Weiss Schwarz simulator, which I would link in the description if you are interested in playing the game online with your friends or whatnot. But yeah, that was my Coco deck. Hope y'all enjoyed. I know this is a little bit different than what I usually do, but I just want to try new things. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Flavors out. Peace out. Bye.